On its website, Windswept offers vacation properties, including waterfront retreats, inns, even a private island it says you can fly your float plane to. The properties are owned by the Connor family, the patriarch, Bob Connor. Stay here and experience all the comforts of home, the website boasts. But this was home without comfort for some of the kids living at the Connors' other properties. Houses run by their other company, Connor Homes, which operated for-profit foster care and group homes for 46 years, and which still runs 3 group homes in Eastern Ontario.
These homes were in horrible shape. Electricity not working, water not working. That happened on a regular basis.
Former workers who asked that their identities be concealed for fear of reprisal say before the ceiling collapsed in one of the homes, they repeatedly documented water damage in daily logs. But disrepair, they say, was often left for weeks, even months.
What message does that send to the youth when it's not worth fixing up their home?
That nobody cares about them, and that's exactly what the youth would say.
There are no parents here. In group homes, kids and teens live together with rotating staff.
A lot of people don't know what happens. They need to see what's going on.
Ontario's Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services had an idea of what was going on. Inspectors visited between 2019 and 2021 and interviewed a girl who said her mattress was so uncomfortable she had to pile several old blankets under her sheets. Inspectors also spoke with a boy who lost his glasses at his last foster home, but says he was told by Connor Home staff that he was not allowed to have a new eye exam until December, 9 months later. They noted bed linens were dirty and smelled of body odor, and there were mouse droppings in kitchen drawers. And yet, the province renewed Connor's group home licenses.
This is happening and there's nothing being done about it.
Connor Homes, which declined an interview, said it strives to exceed the legislated minimum regulatory standards, adding its foster care license was renewed by the ministry without any conditions for the first 40 years. The ministry, meanwhile, says it's increasing oversight and reviewing the processes for inspections.
These kids in these homes weren't a priority.
For every child in its group homes, Connor Homes receives a per diem payment using public funds. As we uncovered, $198 to $213 a day.
Some staff would say that they're a paycheck.
What do you mean, a staff would call a youth a paycheck?
Yeah, I've heard multiple staff say that to kids straight to their face.
In its foster care division, money was also a motivator. Connor Homes would hire supervisors to recruit foster parents and open new homes, paying them $10 a day for every child placed in a home.
Every young person in care has a price tag. We're talking about companies doing business through kids as commodities.
Today, the Connor family has amassed a real estate portfolio owned personally and through their companies worth over $10 million, according to Global News' calculations. Meanwhile, there were complaints to the province, as recently as 2020, that kids were going hungry. Carolyn Jarvis, Global News. Liam Smith was only 13 when his mom died in a car accident. Smiles faded from photos, and grief turned to agony when he says his family turned on him.
The 2 different family members I was with didn't want to take care of me.
And so he eventually arrived on the doorstep of a group home run by Connor Homes, a place his life would unravel even further.
Everything was like scored out of 1. Did you make your bed? Did you shower? Like when I'm depressed, I'm not showering. And when you're sick from school and you don't want to get up to eat, there goes half your points.
When kids didn't score high enough, freedoms were clawed back, and a rare chance for Liam to see his half-brother was taken away.
We were going to go to the Peterborough Zoo, got canceled for having a bad mental health week.
For Liam, finding a sense of family inside those walls was nearly impossible, especially when, he says, the workers who were supposed to care for him would quit in a matter of days or weeks.
We would bet like snacks and stuff over how long people would last.
Because they left that frequently?
Yeah, like every 3 months there would be almost like a whole new team.
According to former workers, many staff were untrained to help kids with complex needs, which meant when Liam had a tough day, some didn't have the skills to help him. And too frequently, he says, he'd end up being physically restrained.
They would like hold your wrists, like like this, like you're on the ground, and somebody would hold your legs.
Connor Holmes, which declined an on-camera interview, said group home staff receive regular training, and every child receives wraparound supports from a multidisciplinary team, including therapists. Still, for Liam, that wasn't enough.
While in Connor Holmes, I tried to commit suicide 3 times.
His mental health, which he says was fine before his mom passed, began to plummet.
It felt like you weren't worth anything. There was just nothing ever to do. You're so bored. It's like, I don't even want to wait these 3 years till I'm out of care. Like, I'd rather just go now.
After nearly 2 years at Connor Holmes, Liam moved to a group home run by a different company, where he stayed until he was 18. Today, he is a success story. He lives independently and has a job. But that success was built mostly alone, and in the memory of what love once felt like.
It takes a village to raise a child, but I don't think there was a village there for us.
Carolyn Jarvis, Global News, Toronto. While we were investigating, Connor Holmes management sent this email to staff, telling them no one can make public statements to the media, not now or ever. But the former workers you're about to hear from are blowing the whistle, saying some kids are being put in danger.
It's awful.
It's just money focused.
If they cared about the kids, you never saw it.
They should be shut down.
We have agreed to hide the identities of these former Connor Holmes workers because of the risk of reprisal. Still, they insisted their message be heard.
I just felt like I was creating monsters out of the kids.
For 46 years, Connor Holmes operated foster care and group homes, and it still runs 3 group homes in Eastern Ontario, a for-profit business funded in part by taxpayer dollars.
I feel like they just cared about the money and not the kids.
Former workers say making money meant cutting costs.
One of the youth was going to school, and Connor Holmes put their schoolwork in a grocery bag, as if the kid needs any other type of sign that they're a group home kid.
Workers say Christmas gifts were mostly clothing instead of toys because budgets were too tight to afford both.
The youth were lower than anybody, and management had this power trip.
The imbalance of power was seen in many ways, say workers, including the unjustified use of physical restraints, a practice the government only allows if a child is at imminent risk of hurting themselves or others.
Were they telling you to restrain when there was no imminent risk?
That's correct.
We were told to restrain them if they break a plate.
According to the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, breaking the rules isn't a new thing for Connor Holmes. In 2017, a fire at one of its homes killed a youth and a worker. 2 separate investigations found issues at the home, including a window made of plexiglass blocking an escape route. Though Connor Holmes was found not to have violated the fire code, 4 years later at a different home, ministry inspectors reported plexiglass was being used again, asking, is the fire marshal aware?
They would just put that there as a quick fix to make sure they didn't have to pay for a new window.
Inspectors noted the plexiglass issue was addressed. Passing an inspection was critical to having Connor's license renewed, and in secretly recorded audio from September 2020, a manager is heard preparing staff for a ministry visit.
What is a level 2 serious occurrence? Everybody has questions about this.
Workers who say they were put on the job with as little as 3 hours of training and an orientation didn't have the answers to basic questions.
When you're reporting a serious occurrence, what do you say to the on-call manager?
I don't know. I've never reported one, honestly.
Connor Holmes declined an interview, but said in a statement workers receive regular training, and the company strives to exceed the legislated minimum regulatory standards. And yet, former workers say the kids who live there were worse off when they left.
Most are still in trouble with the law or drugs. They just go down bad paths because nobody cared about them. So why should they care about themselves?
Carolyn Jarvis, Global News. The finances of Connor Holmes and its affiliate businesses are a dizzying maze. Numbered companies layered upon numbered companies, all owned by members of the Connor family. Bob at the top, his son Sean running the day-to-day operations. Connor Holmes states its foster care and group homes help kids in need. But follow the money, and you'll see some of the Connors also help themselves.
The money that exchanges hands is huge. There are some people getting very, very rich.
In 2013, Sean agreed in family court for his divorce, that he earned an estimated $200,000 a year from his foster care company. His ex-wife also alleging he engaged in extremely aggressive accounting techniques, listing payments for a boat and 2 trailers similar to these as corporate expenses.
If we look at the financial statements from 2008,
we asked 2 independent forensic accountants to review the divorce file, including Matt McGuire.
I would not expect in this line of business that you would be expensing a boat and recreational trailers.
Sean denies the allegations, saying the trailers were indeed business expenses used in lieu of hotel rooms, while other items may not have actually been claimed by his accountant.
It smells funny.
According to a list of corporate expenses he prepared for his accountant, Sean also spent nearly $67,000 on hotels, restaurants, and entertainment from 2007 to 2009. He defends it was for rewarding foster parents and workers, and that he had to promote his company to government agencies. But Sean didn't have any government contracts. His sole client was his father's company. Here's how it works. Bob Connor is the president and co-owner of a numbered company known as Connor Homes, which until recently was licensed as a foster care agency and which still runs 3 group homes. Sean operates a second numbered company, which acted as a middleman between his father and some of the foster parents who took in kids.
What sorts of things do you need to run a business where all you do is push a contract to somebody else, right? Not a boat.
According to financial data from 2018, foster care agencies in Ontario, like Connor Homes, received an average of $173 a day per child from children's aid societies, while Connor Homes paid foster parents $58 per day for each child, as stated in a contract from that same year.
There's a whole bunch of people getting in the middle taking a cut.
That's right.
We tried to speak with Bob and Sean Connor.
Hello? I'm looking for Bob.
I'll find out if he wants to.
Thanks.
But despite multiple attempts to reach them,
He's saying no, but thank you very much.
they declined to appear on camera. In a statement, Sean Connor said the parent company, Connor Homes, had its foster care funding reviewed and audited annually.
So this is a real problem.
Experts say this is but an example of what happens when the province allows profit to be a driver instead of quality of care.
Take the profit out of the system. It would render care a social process as opposed to an economic process. Take the price tag of kids.
Carolyn Jarvis, Global News.